7. Are you sure it's okay I stay here? Penelope sat on the couch, rubbing Fifi. If I did care, it wouldn't matter because Fifi seemed to be enjoying Penelope's company, since she'd not stopped rubbing on her since she got here. Yes.
Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy, and I really wanted to film a reading vlog. It has been such a long time since I've filmed a reading vlog, and typically my reading vlogs are me reading one book in one day, like just totally shutting everything out and just reading the whole book. Those are my favorite, honestly, just to block out the entire day and dedicate it to a good book. Those are my favorite types of reading vlogs to film. However, life is not really been able to do that for me lately. So I really just wanted to film a reading vlog. So I thought I would just do it today. Today is a Monday. And I started Forest something in Forgery. I'll pop it up here on the screen as an audiobook. I started it last week. At work, I like to listen to that while I'm working, but work was just a little bit busy, a little too many phone calls, a lot going on, so I wasn't able to really dive into it like I wanted to kind of get back into the place where I'm really caring for myself and slowing down. And so for me, that's when I'm able to really delve into my books, and that's my favorite form of self-care. As far as the slowing down aspect of it, is really just losing myself in a really good book, even when I'm at work listening to one. So that book that I can't exactly remember the name of, I actually finished today on my lunch break, a few other things, and I was able to listen to it and finish it up. I gave it 3 stars because it's a typical cozy mystery. It's the 3rd book in the Campers and Criminals Cozy Mystery series by Tanya Kappas. This cozy mystery series I found here on YouTube, just looking around for cozy mystery audiobooks to listen to while I was at work, and I came across Tanya Kappas' YouTube channel, and I fell in love with the very first book because it is about Maybelline West. Everybody call her Mae West, like the old actress, and she was married to a gentleman that was arrested because he had a Ponzi scheme going on. They lived in New York. She lived a very lavish lifestyle. She was a trophy wife. And when he got arrested, she had nothing except a campground in Kentucky, in Normal, Kentucky, that he had put in her name. And she had a little camper. So she had to drive from New York all the way to Kentucky and kind of take over this campground that wasn't doing too well, because no one kind of really owned it, and the person who was running it wasn't really getting paid. And so she kind of went and turned the campground around and started paying all the employees, and the town just kind of fell in love with her. And she was really instrumental in bringing tourism back to this town because she has a campground that's near a lake and near the forest. And so in the first book, her husband shows up and things go awry, and there's a couple other murders, and it's a good book, and so it got me hooked. The first one was like Beaches, Bungalows, and Burglary. I think that is what it was called. Now, don't be fooled by the title of the book, how each of the words in the book has the same alphabet at the beginning, because these books are not in alphabetical order. There are 33 books in this series so far, and I'm just on number 3, so we have a very long way to go. But I would go to Tanya Kappas' blog, and she has all the books in order. So personally, I like to read cozy mysteries in order because the fun thing about cozy mysteries to me is that you do usually get series, and you're able to grow with the character and grow with all the people that they pull along the way. And so I just think that's so fun. I am just a cozy mystery lover, and for me lately, cozy mysteries have been really doing it. So I'm just going to give it my usual 3 stars because it's just really comfort for me. It's not a great book, it's not a horrible book, it's just right there in the middle. And so 3 stars it is. So also over a week ago, I started Murder is a Piece of Cake by Valerie Burns. This is a Baker Street murder mystery. Maddie is a social media influencer, and she is live streaming her wedding, and she is left at the altar by her fiance. While this wedding is being live streamed, she's completely humiliated, and she just needed some time away from the hustle and bustle. I think she's from California, I think. So her great aunt Octavia dies, and the great aunt left her home, her bakery, her dog, and a little bit of money. The bakery is called Baby Kate's Bakery, and it is the #1 bakery in New Bison, Michigan. It's on the lake, and it sounds really beautiful the way the author writes it all out. Baby is a 250-pound mastiff. And so I really love the first book. I gave it 5 stars. For me, sometimes I will rate a book higher just based on the feeling, even though it may not be necessarily a good book. I'll talk about a book that wasn't that good that gave a high star rating to in just a few moments when I introduce the next book to you. But I love that this was a Black female main character, and I loved her kind of coming of age in this book, finding herself, trusting herself, beginning to really find family. She does have a father that is an admiral in the Navy, and so he's really hard, tough as nails, but spoils her mercilessly. But she's really smart, and she's well traveled, and she is spoiled, but she's not unkind. She has a good heart, and all of that really begins to come out as she takes over the bakery. Of course, there's a murder, and because she's new in town and it's her aunt's business, her aunt had left her some videotapes and stuff for her to look at, and so she knew there was a mystery here. If she was trying not to get involved, but she couldn't help it. And her relationship with Baby is the cutest thing in the world, and that was everything from the first book. Now this is the second book, and there is, according to the synopsis, there's a new bakery in town that's causing her a lot of problems, and she doesn't know how to bake at all, so there's some sort of competition from my understanding, and the owner of the rival bakery ends up dead, and she has to solve this murder because obviously they're blaming her for it because there's tension between her and the new baker that's trying to take the spotlight. So I am very excited to get in this. I'm only on page 20. I have only read 20 pages of this book in a week. Okay. So we're gonna finish this day. It's only 350 pages, not counting the recipes. There are some recipes in the back of this book, but not counting the recipes, it's only 250 pages. So now that my work day is over, I'm going to spend a good solid hour reading. I'm gonna set my timer. I'm not gonna get up till I have read for an hour, then I'll get up and finish my evening routine. The book I want to finish this week is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So from my understanding, this is going to be a new cozy mystery series by Jessie Q. Sutanto. She is the author of Dial A for Auntie, and also For Something in a Wedding. I'll leave the other cozy mystery series second book here on the screen. That book I gave probably, I think, like a 4-star rating. It was not the book itself that was really that good. I felt like for a follow-up to such a great book that was Dial A for Aunties, it was really a very mediocre book, and sometimes I felt like she was almost making fun of her aunts. However, I also felt like she was just trying to show people what her culture is really like, and it's just her culture through her eyes. That book I ended up giving a high star rating to, maybe like 4 stars, It wasn't that the book necessarily was that good, but every single day after work, I couldn't wait to get home to read more pages. Every time I got a chance, I would just read more pages. And I laughed out loud several times. And I think it was just kind of where I was in my life that week, where I ended up giving her a high star rating just because I couldn't wait to get home and I couldn't wait to finish reading it. I absolutely did not want to DNF it. I can't describe. The book was felt a little bit like you were watching I Love Lucy. Like, it got really slapsticky at times, but also too, I really think that book just had so much heart, like how much her family really loved her and how much her family showed respect for their culture and how much her family showed respect for her and her new husband. And I think that was what got me of the found family aspect of it, because her husband was calling her mom, and he didn't even call I think he called his mom, but it just sounded like more affection when he was talking to her mom. Like, it was just a really cool book. Let's just put it like that. It was a really cool book. So Vera Wong she likes to solve mysteries. She's an older lady. She lives in Chinatown in San Francisco. She has an apartment over her tea shop, and she finds a dead body one day in her tea shop, and the dead guy is holding a flash drive. So when she calls the police, and then she takes the flash drive out of the guy's hands because she feels like she's an old Chinese grandma. She definitely knows more than the police knows. So then she goes down this rabbit hole of trying to solve this crime, and she has flash drive and she feels that someone's going to come back looking for it. But along the way, while she's trying to figure out this murder, she finds several customers that she kind of develops this relationship with, which I think is really cool, because it says that she has a son, but maybe the son's just like off doing his son life thing and she feels a little bit alone and left out. So maybe that's part of it. But I am super excited to delve into this one too. This only has 333 pages, so I feel like I'll be able to finish this as well. The goal is to vlog for the next 6 days, so from Monday through Sunday. So I do have a couple of events that I want to do today, and I do want to do a little bit of meal prepping tonight. So I'll bring you guys along with everything that I feel like may make a reading vlog fun. I'll bring you along with me to do those things, and we will just see how it all gets on. So let's just set the timer for 1 hour. We have my candle going. How gorgeous is this little vase? This vase is actually shaped like a book, can you tell? And my sweet, sweet neighbor Madeline got me that for my birthday. I love it so much, and it's really become one of my favorite vases. So we have our candle, our flowers, we have some delicious kombucha, and of course our blanket. It's time to get cozy and read and give ourselves a little bit of love and slow down. So I'll see you guys when I have something to share.
$92 in tips. Mickey counted the money twice just to make sure. Holy shit. After sharing with 2 barbacks, she had nearly $100? That wasn't bad at all. She pulled a notepad from her nightstand and began tallying figures. If she could consistently pull this off, she would be okay.
Hello, it's Wednesday. It's probably about 5:45 in the evening. I work from home today, so typically at 4 o'clock, straight up, I turn my computer off and I grab a book and read to give myself 1 hour to separate the work day and the home life, which really helps me to switch totally, get all of the work out of my brain. But anyway, today I needed to do a couple of chores. I really gave my bathroom a good scrubbing, and I am currently doing a load of laundry. So now I'm going to sit here and read a little bit more Murder is a Piece of Cake by Valerie Burns. I'm probably going to read for an hour, still set my timer and read for an hour, and just make dinner when I'm done. I hear a lot of people talking about this book. One of the things that I wanted to talk about in this series specifically is Miss Hannah, which is Aunt Octavia's best friend. I think they've been friends for over 30 years. Miss Hannah has dementia, and they talk about it in this book about how where she's talking and they can look in her eyes and tell that she's clear, and then they'll look at her again or ask her a question and they'll see that she is not there anymore. And even when her grandson, who is her caregiver and also the boyfriend to Maddie, the main character, he takes care of her. That's his grandmother. He's a veterinarian, and he takes care of her. He doesn't have to worry about her because everyone in the community, they call them the Baby Cakes Irregulars, which is just like the group of people that used to solve mysteries with Octavia. They just take care of her. Like when she's at the bakery and like she goes dim, someone would just like take her upstairs to the apartment in the bakery and let her lay down, or they'll call Michael and he'll come get her. But she is so well taken care of in this series, and I just think that's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm telling you, cozy mysteries and the side characters that you get to grow with along with the main character is just one of my favorite things. And like I said before, I just love the aspect of found family. So I tried to get a clip this morning of me when I was working, but honestly, I started an audiobook on Monday. After I finished like my hour of reading and I get ready to get into my evening routines, I like to put on music or a podcast. The other day was Monday. I didn't feel like listening to either, so I put on another audiobook that I had queued up on Libby, and it was entitled Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up, and it's by Cherish Reed. I've never read this author before. I only added it to my queue because it had a long waiting list and it seemed very popular and it seemed to be getting kind of good reviews. I didn't read the synopsis at all. I figured it was a romance, but you know, I really didn't read the synopsis, so I had no idea. And it's a grumpy sunshine romance, and it's a kind of a forbidden romance because the main character, Mickey Chambers, is an adjunct instructor at a university. I don't think she's a professor. She may be a professor, but I think she's just like a lecturer or something like that. And she also has hyperthyroidism, and it makes her really sick, and she takes a lot of medicines, and so her department really doesn't have much work for her, so she's just kind of like working a few weeks here and there. So she has a summer class, and she's worried about money, so she's kind of downtown hanging out, looking around, and she sees a help wanted sign in a bar window. And so she goes in, she ends up getting a job, and the man who owns the bar turns out to be one of her students. He's a little bit older. She's 33, I think he's 45. And so she says she always likes the non-traditional students anyway. And they strike up a little romance. It's kind of forbidden because he's her student and also he's her boss at the job at the saloon. So his name is Diego, her name is Mickey, and it's really neat, and I'm enjoying the characters around the saloon. It's the name of the bar as well. This book immediately put me in the mind of Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I liked that book. I like the second book better, but the reason I knew immediately why I didn't love like 5-star Get a Life Chloe Brown is because of the way Talia wrote her intentionally. Chloe Brown also has a chronic illness, and she was kind of sad and weary and all these things, but that's the way the author meant to write her. So technically I should have given it 5 stars because I felt the exact way I think that Talia Hibbert meant for us to feel reading it. Because the second book with the second sister, if you've not read the Brown Sister Trilogy by Talia Hibbert, what are you doing? It's so good. It's Get a Life Chloe Brown. The second one, I know the book is Yellow, which is my favorite. So why I can't remember the name of it, I don't know. But the third one is Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is the third sister, the baby sister. I really did like that trilogy very much. But anyway, Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up reminds me a lot of that book. I did listen to that book while I was doing my chores this evening. So I'm about 50% done because I've been listening to it as I drive. So whenever in my car, I'm listening to it. I didn't go anywhere today, but I went from work last night to my friend's house, and what was a 15-minute drive took an hour. I'm not even gonna tell y'all how soaking wet I was when I got to her house, to the point that she had to put some of my clothes in her dryer and give me other clothes to wear. I'm not gonna talk about that. Anyway, so I'm about like at 46% of the book. I feel like I'm just like almost halfway there. But yeah, I'm gonna put that on pause. I may put it back on when I'm cooking myself dinner. But for right now, I'm gonna give myself an hour. And I'm gonna read some more of Murder is a Piece of Cake. I'm gonna try my best to read 50 pages here in an hour. We'll see how it goes. Happy Saturday. I have been around and about my bed all day. I've gotten up. I had a grocery delivery. I put that away. I made myself some lunch and then another lunch because I didn't get up until like 11. I did finish Murder is a Piece of Cake. We'll talk about that later. But I have spent some time setting up my planner for next week. I wanted to do this Christmas in July theme, so I used the sticker book from Gold Mine and Cocoa. Their Christmas sticker book is just one of my favorite. I prefer to only use transparent stickers in my Hobonichi, but I just couldn't shake the feeling that I wanted to do this Christmas and July theme. Only thing I don't love about this spread is this one doll here. I may get some undo to see if I can pull it up. I just feel like it's not a right balance. But I am working from home every day next week except Friday. Friday's the only day I go into the office next week, and it was such a gift. Oh, y'all. It's been such a gift. It's a gift to be able to work from home next week. It's been an incredibly difficult few months, and the last 2 weeks were even more difficult. But anyway, so it's like we get a little bit of a breather for 1 week. Only one person on the team has to go in the office 2 days next week, which is still better than her typical 3 days. So yeah, it's gonna be a good week. I did go ahead and set up my journaling pages. So here are what my journaling pages look like. I did put a doll from Gold Mine and Cocoa on every single day. I feel like I'm just gonna have so much fun journaling next week, because I feel like next week will be a week like of my dream life. Like, I have a vision in my head of what I want my life to be like, which is to work fully remote. If you guys work fully remote, let me know if you had that job before the pandemic, or if you didn't have it before the pandemic, like, how did you find a fully remote job? Help your girl out, help your sister out, help your friend out, whatever you think of me as. Help me out. Anyway, so this is what my planner looks like for next week. Like I said, I only have to go into the office one day, and that day I'm in the office, I'm going to pack quite a bit. Now, the days I'm working from home, I have a hell of a lot of work to do, like, for my job, like, so much work. Like, my list is pretty thick. However, working from home is just so much more peaceful. I can get so much more work done, and I just prefer not being around people all day, every day. And so I did bring another monitor home on Friday as well, so I'll be able to get the work done easier. It's not easy work, but I'll be able to get it done easier. I feel like I'll be much more efficient. The movers will not be in the building. My manager will be on vacation. So it should just be a better week. So I'm loving my Christmas theme, and the Gold Mine and Cocoa dolls do feel heavy in this planner for no other reason than they're just matte stickers, and like I said, I prefer transparent, but I still love it so much. I think that this spread came out so good. But anyway, I have started reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. You guys, I love the first freaking page, like the first 1 and 2 pages. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. I love the way the author described her. I just fell in love with this character on this first this paragraph made me fall in love with the character, and even more, she's definitely going to be a busybody type of grandma, and she's bothering her son so much. It's so cute, and I like the way the book is written. You see their text messages to each other, well, actually mostly her text messages to him. She's definitely one of those pushy moms. I don't think she's going to get on my nerve though, because I just love her so much based on how the author wrote just her morning routine, and how she's just really kind of always been this way her whole life. She talked about being a young girl already in here. And I love the way this book is just written. Like, she's making notes and scratching things out. And I just think this is going to be such a good book. She is highly opinionated, and she is a widow, and she owns her own shop, and just all those great things. I just love her as a character so much already. I'm only on page, 5. Stop. Yo, I had finished Murder's a Piece of Cake this morning. I didn't even make myself tea this morning or coffee. I just made myself a large cup of water, got back into bed, finished Murder's a Piece of Cake, and literally went back to sleep. That's how the day is going. This is a lovely day. These are the days I just need after I've had a week like I've had. So I'm loving the day. The goal is to get half of this read today, but I don't know, because I think it's maybe 4 o'clock already. And if not, I'll finish a bunch of it tomorrow, hopefully, because like I said, I got my groceries today. Not much to meal prep. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day and read this. Now that my planner is done, I'm gonna write some more things down for next week and get them out of my head and into my planner. Show you guys. So this is what this week looks like. I haven't finished filling it in because typically I struggle so hard, you guys, after Tuesday. Like, I work from home on Mondays, so I have Saturday and Sunday to recover from the prior week, and I work from home on Monday so I can just kind of breathe as I do my tasks for the week. And then by the time I get home from work on Tuesday, the rest of the week just falls off, and I'm really working to put better systems in place. But I think it's just the season we're in at work, so I'm showing myself some grace. Not too much, because I still have goals I want to accomplish that have nothing to do with my job. Like, there's just life goals, and my job is just sucking the life out of me right now. So I'm going to just back plan, finish filling out what I have for dinner, finish filling out my spending. As you can see, I had nothing planned today but to read and to rest, because I just knew what the week was going to be like. I already got my groceries, so I've done just a tiny bit of meal prep. I'll do the rest tomorrow, car wash. And I need to clean out my work bag, even though I'm not going into the office next week. I still like to give it, it needs a good scrub. It has a couple of marks on it that I'm sure is just from me throwing it around, because I've just been rushing around. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. I had a great time last night. My gosh, did I have so much fun last night. Yeah, and I also had a really good time on Tuesday night. I don't think I discussed it with you guys, but I had an excellent time Tuesday night and Friday night. So yeah, anyway, that's enough. I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Sunday. The flowers are dead, so it's time to end this vlog. The first book we finished this week was Forest, Fishing, and Forgery by Tanya Cappis. It is the third installment in the Campers and Criminals series, and in this particular book, there's a bachelor party that shows up at the campground. The moment they show up, everyone can feel a little bit of trouble because they're so rowdy. And so May and her manager of the campground, Dottie, kind of gives them a warning, letting them know that this is kind of like a family establishment. There will be no shenanigans. And so there is some sort of kind of like a welcome party or some sort of event that May is having at the campground on the night that the bachelor party arrives, and the bachelor is really drunk, and he gets into an altercation with the park ranger. So May has to take him back to his camp and let him know that if he doesn't come down, she's gonna have to kick him and his party out. And so the very next day, when May is on a date walking on the campground, on the trail in the forest, she finds the park ranger dead. And when they get back to the campground, they can find the groom to be nowhere. And so there's also a threat of a drought that hits the town, and so that's something else that's going on as well. So quite a bit ensues. This book was so good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. Like I said, this is just my comfort series, and I love it so much. So that's the first book that we finished. The second book that we finished this week was Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up. I had originally intended to do all cozy mysteries this week, but a little romance ain't ever hurt nobody. So I'm really happy that I was able to listen to it. I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed how the author took care of Mickey and her hyperthyroidism, and how she really made her. One of the things I found interesting about the narrator is, like, every time she would narrate Mickey, she would be breathless, and I was, at first it was really annoying. I was like, why is she making Mickey out of breath? But just like I told you about Get a Life, Chloe Brown, it's the same type of feeling. The author wanted you to know that even though Mickey is going through her life, she still has this chronic illness that does make her extremely tired, and she has to very much care for herself. And so kind of after I got that in my mind, I was able to relax and really enjoy the audiobook. I feel like the narrator did a really good job, because some audiobooks, the narrator is like what is happening right now, and they can truly ruin a book. That is how I feel about Books and Biscuit Cozy Mystery Series by Abby Collette. I feel like the narrator kind of ruined that series for me. I'm not going to stop reading the series. I'm just going to not listen to it anymore because I just can't take it. Just can't take it. But anyway, back to Mickey Chambers. This was your grumpy sunshine, forbidden love type of romance. I don't think that the age gap was that big to like make it like an age gap romance too. I felt like her being his teacher and him being her boss, and also the grumpy sunshine aspect was enough. So I really enjoyed this book as well. I love the way the author wrote all the characters. Like I said before, I really enjoyed the characters all around the saloon. I loved how, I don't want to give too much of the book away, so I can't really say that, but there are several things that I did really like about this book. So if you're into romance, check it out. Just be aware. There are some steamy scenes. Yes, there are some steamy scenes in this book. Okay, there's about 3 that I can recall in this book. So if steamy scenes or something, if you like closed door romance, this ain't for you. Don't read this. But if you don't mind a little, go ahead, you may enjoy it. So the second book we finished this week was a Murder is a Piece of Cake by Valerie Byrne. Oh, also Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up is by Cherish Reed. I don't know if I said that. But Murder is a Piece of Cake is by Valerie Burns. So I talked a lot about this book during the vlog, so I don't feel like I really need to recap it too much, but there is something I want to point out, and this is just for my friend Malika specifically. Okay, Malika, so you know how we was talking on Goodreads and we felt like one person was very suspicious to us? Well, friend, she cast a shadow on a whole different person in this book. Yes, she did. So I feel like this is part of the book, part of the series where the author is going to keep throwing you off, making you think that. So here's the thing. I'm talking to y'all again now, but Malika, you still listen. So the author, okay, so Aunt Octavia, who is dead, was murdered, okay? So the first book, in my opinion, did not wrap up who Aunt Octavia's murder was, in my opinion. This book, they said that it was a person. I don't believe that that was the person that they said it was, okay? So in this book, the author cast a shadow on a whole different person. So by the time I got to the end, I was like, this series gonna go on, and is she gonna wrap it up and tell us everything? And how many books do I got to get to get there? I don't want this to be a camper. I don't want this, yeah, like the Campers and Criminals. There's 33 books in there. I can't go 33 books and not know who the person was. So Aunt Octavia has always felt like one of the people in the Baby Cake Irregulars was a mole. The author keeps casting shadows on different people. Okay, I find that part of the book even more interesting. I'm liking that even more about it too. I just don't want to go 30 books and don't know who did it, because then everybody in the town gonna be dead. New Bison is a small town, just like Cabot Cove. Y'all know how half of Cabot Cove is dead. That's how I feel if you don't wrap this up. I don't want to go 7 seasons. I want to know soon. You don't got to tell me. I need to know about book 5. How many books in here? What we got going on, Valerie? Tell me something. Don't make me wait 7 seasons, 7 years before you tell me who the mole is. You can make me wait to book 5, but that's about it, Valerie. I'm gonna need you to wrap that up. Anyway, that's my little tangent. This is 4 stars. I love this series. I love this series. I love it. It's only 2 books in, so it's not a lot going on. So that's the third and final book we actually finished this week. Okay, so the next book that we started, I am on page 27, so not far. I did read just a little bit this morning. After I told you guys I was going to read yesterday, I didn't. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jesse Q. Sutanto. I'm on page 27, and I can tell you right now, unless something drastic happens that just throws me off and I don't enjoy, this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I am loving Vera Wong. First of all, she a whole mess. Her son is so over her shenanigans, like he barely speaks to her. And she's saying when her husband was alive, he was like the referee between them two. So at least they spoke to each other. But now he did. The son is like, I don't have time for your shenanigans, mom. No, Vera Wong is a whole mess. And I'm just on page 27. She's the type of mess that I truly enjoy. I have met 2 side characters so far. One is her one and only customer, usually every day, named Alex, and what's going on with Alex's life. And then the second character we met so far is the dead man's wife. Are we sad that he's dead? On page 27, I'm not sad. I'm not sad that he's dead. Which is usually the thing with cozy mysteries. They make the bad guys so bad that you're like, okay, shit happens. But anyway, I already feel that this is a 5-star read for me, okay? I'm very excited about this. So one thing I realized I didn't tell you earlier in the week is that my reading goal for each week is 1 physical book and 1 audio book. I like to set myself up with just 2 books a week to keep me interested. Like I said, making reading time my favorite form of self-care, where I just have to slow down and sit. That does so much good for my nervous system, for my digestive system, for my mental health and my physical health. Lately, it's just to kind of just sit down and sit with a book, be stimulated while you're doing it. So that's my favorite thing. And the second is audiobook, is I need something, especially when I'm in the office, to keep my head on work, but get me out of the office. Okay, we're not talking about. One of the reasons I don't talk in my vlogs anymore is because I do not want to talk about my job. I just don't want to talk about it. And so I've been doing all these quiet vlogs. I'm very grateful to you all for loving them, because after this vlog, I realized I've talked about my job more than I want to. And like, even out when I'm with my friends, like my best friend B called me and she was telling me something about going on her life, and I was listening to her. And she was like, what's going on at work? I was like, I can't talk about it. She was like, what you mean? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to bring these emotions and feelings over to you, which is B, her, and then you, my viewers. And then I was talking to, when I went to the Jazz Fest the other night with Madeline, she kind of like forced me to tell her what was going on, which was okay, but I didn't tell her nearly all of it, right? I just am struggling so hard with that right now. So I realized in this video, I thought I would be able just to talk to you guys about books and just keep that as my main subject. But here I am now, not able to do that. So we got to go back to the quiet vlogs. We have to go back to the quiet vlogs until I can get some peace at work again. But anyway, back to me liking to listen to a book while I'm working to try to keep me calm and keep me happy and keep me at peace while I'm at work. So I like to listen to one audiobook every single week. And then I like to come home after work and give myself an hour to separate from the workday to my evening life. So if I do that, then if I listen to a book or read a book for that hour, by the time I get to my evening routine, I can do it and be much more calm. So that's my goal for every single week. I'm doing Christmas in July. As you can tell by my planner, I did take that one out because that was driving me nuts. But anyway, I plan on reading a couple of Christmas books next week. So what I will do is I will let you guys know in the community tab. I will do like a blog post, like a review, so you can see what I'm reading and what my thoughts are. And I will also update Goodreads, and I will link Goodreads in the description box of this video. We're going back to the quiet vlogs after this. I'm going on the walking trail now to get some sun. And I love talking to God outside, you guys. And I'm just going to do that while I'm on the walking trail. So I won't be listening to a book or any music. I will just be walking and talking to God the whole time. Thank you guys so very much for spending this week with me. Thank you guys so very much for showing me grace as we do these quiet vlogs for a little while longer. And thank you guys so much for just all of your encouraging words all the time and being just so kind in just this beautiful community. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, beautiful.